عيناي تاريخي كتاريخي زبريخ وبكل يقليل بطوفة ريز حلق من اللتي حديقي حدش من اللت فبرخ ودا يحك أخيو بمسلين لت بهلخ بمسلين لتي ودا يحك أخيو بمسلين لتي ورشع ولدي 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 ولدوش يسبخ خالو أنا خحافر له من اللتيك قبر كذب تقليلو زانتانا فطرو السور زي بلو عينين زريقو داولو علو تنتاو خستاتنا كلو أفضيو سوالي داناري ويدي شيريريري شورودوداي يسرحالو كسات كاخدن كرتات كاتري خاصي بلالكتون وما نخي شناف دخوليني زي أنا زمسلنا بنت زيني أنا مبريتاي وخور زي الزاني ودتهم تقيبان بكل سلطاني ود مدر بحري ود مدر لبرسينا سفر تاريخ كله مدر ناقر يحاتوا لدي كساب جاف زغوص ود بحرنا دستاتي روشتو زفتخ كدم الاف زبنات فدل فيتر على ما بقدر تخلع مش من نقدر الجمر قدف حق السيف حق قرب زمحر عودة وارح زمرو نبات غسل وفكر كراوة يعني الله يزودي من النتاي اتفتح عيدها دول فرعته ملسو ما يعمو حقيق تاريخه مسقز يا خي دبالغ كبير بري بسرعة تاريخ كيعمل كبر بري كبرتات ماني ومنتنا مستير لو يا سيد عديلنا شرط سلطاني وخاطرتي انه عسر وحالته بدل كله حاولتي انه مسكين عدولي سناتنا عروستي انه هي وسكرنا يخشو ما يحاولتي الفقدامات بس متحفتي ندرس بعد عدي مدرتهم فكرتي شيريريري شيرادو دادو شيريري دادو شيرالو لالو أفضيو سوادي داراني ويدي شيريريري شرودوداي من النتاي اتفتح عينها دول فرعته ملسو ما يعمو حقيق تاريخه مسقز يا خي دبالغ كبير بري بسرعة تاريخ كيعمل كبر بري كبرتات ناني ومنتنا مسير لو يا سيد عديلنا شرط سلطاني وخاطرتي انه عسر وحالته بدل كله حاولتي انه مسكين عدولي سناتنا عروستي انه هي وسكرنا يخشو ما يحاولتي الفقدامات بس متحفتي ندرس بعد عدي مدرتهم فكرتي شيريريري شيرادو دادو شيريري دادو شيرالو لالو ويلك
Okay, thank you for that. Let me turn off my share. There we go. All right, quick mic check. Everyone can hear me? Perfect. I want to thank you guys for coming. My name is TJ, and I'm going to be the host for this stream. I really appreciate everyone being here. This is going to be a fundraising event and solidarity event run by Campaign for Peace. Now, we have several guests with me today, and I appreciate all of you coming here. I'm just going to go in the order that I see people on my screen. So we have with us Danny Primo, we have Jonas Weldu, we have Eden, as well as Captain Eritrea. And I want to thank, again, I want to thank you guys all for being here. Really, the point of this event is just an opportunity to help us to raise money for an event that we're trying to hold in Washington, D.C. on Martin Luther King Day weekend next year, 2023, January 13th through 15th. So I'm going to have some of our guests tell you a little bit more about that event as we get into it. But really, all I wanted to say was I hope this is an event where we can really come together and talk about what we're trying to do and talk about how we can really come together and help bring this community just a little bit closer together. So what I'd really like to do is just start off with some introductions so that anyone who's watching can get to know who we're going to have on the panel today. And again, I'm just going to try and go through the same order as I have people on the screen. So Danny, if you don't mind, I'd like to start with you. Just a little bit of an introduction about yourself and who you are.
Well, hello, everyone. Danny Primo Dallas from Dallas, Texas. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm happy to be here. I appreciate this solidarity and, really the initiative, Dr. Nagasi and then Almaz from Canada, Captain Eritrea, for having the solidarity event and then starting the fundraising event for Tigray. I'm just really excited about this. KETO from Denver is also live with us, and I appreciate that. TJ, thank you for being here. Eden, Faven, Jonas, Captain Eritrea, happy to be here. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. All right, Captain, I know you're pulling double duty, but do you have a chance to introduce yourself here? All right. I will move on then and shift it over to Eden, if you could unmute yourself and.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, TJ. Thank you, everyone here for bringing us into the cause. I was humbled and actually appreciate the fact that this initiative started, even though I've been following along Captain Eritrea, Jonas, and Dr. Nagasi, just to the good work that they've been doing in their community and being able to approach the Tigray community as well and say, it's time for us to consolidate and start working towards the good cause. So I'm humbled and I appreciate being here and being able to support all of us. So thank you very much. And I, like Danny, I'm part of SJT, Security and Justice for Tigray, and as well as Solidarity of Nations, working together in regards to what's happening in Ethiopia. So I appreciate you.
All right, thank you. And Jonas, we're going to have you up next. Just talk a little bit about yourself, and if you could, talk a little bit about the organization Campaign for Peace and what you guys are really trying to do.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Jonas Waldo. Thank you. It's great to be here with everybody in solidarity. And ultimately, Campaign for Peace is exactly what it says. We're campaigning for peace. We're campaigning for solidarity among all the people that's been in grievance, all the people that's been in trauma. And we're trying to create a platform where everybody recognizes it and just understands it, because those are some of the first steps before you can actually heal, is for people to understand. And so everybody here that you see on the stage right now understand one another, And now we're collectively working together to raise money in order to support the Tigray community because of all the destruction that's been going on for the past 2 years, all the war crimes, all the killings, all the genocide, everything that you can think of happened. And so now, and it's still happening. So we're over here advocating for justice and peace. And so we have to do it in solidarity. So thanks so much. And I'll share some of the members and or part of the organization because it's a collective effort. It's just not one organization. It's multiple organizations.
Cool. Yeah, I know one of the big goals we have here is to help collect money for this solidarity event. So I just want to remind everyone, we do have a link to both buy tickets and to help donate money in this chat that we're working in. And if you're watching this through YouTube, we have a link in the description as well, where you can go and donate money. So I really appreciate that. And if you could take that and share it just with anyone that you can, friends, family, community organizations, anywhere you can get that out there to help us work towards this goal. And I know everyone here would really appreciate that. So what we're going to do here is hopefully just get a chance to really talk about the event, talk about what it means, and talk about what the greater goals of the organization are. So I'm just going to go right back to you, Jonas, and ask if you want to talk a little bit more about the Solidarity event and what it is, on top of the organization.
Okay, so the Solidarity event is going to be an event that's going to be held on January 13th, 14th, 15th. It's going to be an event where we're raising money. We're going to have a protest, and then we're going to actually have an event where all of us are going to get together. Actually, hold on, hang on for a second. Let me grab something. I think it's important to know who's all going to be there first, so that way people understand. Okay, so it's about 13 organizations here. They're going to be there, and it's Seed for Peace and Democracy in Eritrea, SPDE is the organization. Team Freedom is going to be there, Captain Eritrea, and myself. And then Bright Future is also going to be supported in this event. And then still, Solidarity of Tigrayans for Independence and Liberty. And also Magar Tigray Women's Association, MTWANA. And then Eritrean Women Organization, EWO. And then I Stand with Tigray, ISWT. United Eritreans for Justice, UEJ. And then Sib Hidri International Civil Society of Tigray, next one is SJT, Security and Justice for Tigray. And then next one is National Representative of the Eritrean Government in Exile. And then the last one I have here is the Resurrection of Tigrayan and Eritrean people. And so these organizations are collectively working together. And the event is going to be on the 13th, 14th, and 15th. And it's going to start off with a protest. And then it's going to be full of concerts with a lot of different artists. I know Q-Rap from Las Vegas is going to be there. He's one of my favorite because he's from Las Vegas. And so it's going to be a good event. And I've been to a lot of events like this, and I really have a good time. I enjoy it. I was there at this last event that they had at, it was for the second anniversary of the war. And it was a three-day event. It was impressive. We started off at the State Department. Then we all walked off to the White House. And then from there, we went to Monument. Then we went back to the White House. And this is all in one day. And I was pretty impressed. I thought it was pretty effective. It was amazing. And they got the word out. They spoke to key people who they needed to speak to. And so, and then that following week, or no, I'm sorry, not week, but the following probably second or third day, they did a protest on blocking the road and the freeway. And so this is the kind of noise that we have to have in solidarity in order to get the policies that we need that's going to bring justice and peace to a region that we care about, people that we care about, countries that we care about. that's what it comes down to. So I really appreciate everybody doing this. And this is what we should expect this coming around too. 13, 14, 15 should be very impactful.
No, that's amazing to hear. You have so many, you listed 13 different organizations, including yourself in that. And I think it's great to see all these groups coming together. What I'm curious about is what brought you guys together? Like, how'd you guys decide to unify, find each other? And I guess that's a question for each of you, because I know, all of you represent different organizations. So what really brought you guys together?
If I could
yeah, go ahead, Danny.
Yeah. So let me just say, first of all, I represent SJT, Security and Justice for Tigrayans. So Dr. Nagasi, just big shout out to him for starting this in Dallas, Texas. Eritreans and Tigrayans. He started this, I believe, about 2 years ago, actually before the war, believe it or not. So he had been working very hard with both Tigrayans and Eritreans to have this. And then, of course, this war broke out. And then Dr. Nagasi, Captain Eritrean, and the rest of the group, as you can see here, really their effort approaching these 13 organizations and having them say, yes, thank you for that. Dr. Teka from SJT chair, appreciate you. And then other groups such as Atlanta, Mulugeta, Almas from Toronto, I believe, Canada. But yeah, I appreciate this unity and solidarity. And again, this is to raise money. By the way, I want to ask everyone to share this. This is going to be a great event. We're going to raise money today, you guys. The goal for this is $2 million. Not today, obviously, but $2 million. And we can do it. And I know we can. The money that gets donated goes straight to TDA, via TDA to Tigray. Every donation that comes from here goes to Tigray. I just wanted to make sure that everyone understands that. Tigray, as you know, has been devastated for the past 2 years. So hospitals, schools, I mean, just name it, you guys. Over 600,000 civilians have been killed. So we need to stand together and say no to this war, and stand together, help Tigray. This is what this event is about. But again, to say, Dr. Nagasi, thank you for organizing this and inviting us all to participate. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Eden, how was it that you came to join this as well?
TJ, I mean, this is, all our brothers and sisters here with us, they're seeing what is happening in Tigray and what has transpired, right? So to me, if my approach is whatever, whether I do advocacy work, even just professional work, is that if we have people who are willing to be remorseful, who understands what social justice means, who fights for the good fight, you ought to come together and support each other and try to resolve the issue, right? So for me, like I was saying, and I'm confessing here with you guys, but the work of Jonas, the work of Captain Eritrea is what actually gave me a little bit of hope to say, the Eritrean community, we cannot view everyone the same. It's the same thing in the Tigray community, right? There's people that do good and there's people that do bad. And there we have to go that are in Addis and supporting the Abiy Ahmed government and, in participating in this genocide. So I look at it as we have a community here that's very active, that understands that what's happening in Tigray is wrong, that also want to free their own people in Eritrea. So if I consider this as, for me, I can't speak for everyone, but as reparation, someone coming in and saying what's happening is wrong, what the Eritrean government is doing in Tigray is wrong, what the Ethiopian government doing in Tigray is wrong. So therefore, I stand with you in solidarity. That to me is a huge step to consolidation, a huge step to looking at a glimpse of hope and peace for the future. So despite what others might feel, and again, trauma takes different forms. For me, I look forward to resolving an issue instead of sitting in agony and mourning about the loss of my family, the loss of my region, the loss of my birthplace. And that's understandable. It's different for everyone. It takes time. But for me, the way to move forward, the way to keep myself sane is by finding people who are willing to work together and being able to bring some sort of peace to the current situation. And I commend this entire group for coming in, all the 13 organizations coming in and saying, you know what, we're going to march with you, next to you, by you. And also we're going to pledge an amount to be able to help the refugees that are in Sudan, the refugees that are still within the IDPs within Tigray, who are coming from different regions. So for that, I am standing in solidarity with people that are willing to help me, which is you guys here. So that's the reason I'm here. And that's the reason why I work with the other group of Solidarity of Nations in Ethiopia who are in diaspora, but want Abiy Ahmed to be removed, because what transpired in Tigray is happening to the rest of the country. There's a huge, huge, huge genocide happening in Oromia, in the Benshangul Gumuz area. So this is never going to stop. It started in one place, but it's creating chaos to Horn of Africa. So that's the reason I'm joining this campaign, peace campaign.
All right, it's good to hear. You talked about how important it is for people to stand up and really face what's going on both sides, not just Tigrayans standing up and saying what's happening in their region, but to have Eritreans come and stand up and talk about what they think that their government is doing. So I guess my next question for the group is, why do you think this event is important both to Eritreans and Tigrayans? Like, how is it important to each of them independently? And what do you think the difference is between how people on one side should be doing this or the other? Because I know the point is to come together, and I want to know what that means from both sides of the issue. What does it mean to come together for Tigrayans, and what does it mean to come together for Eritreans?
I can jump in on that one. So the importance, growing up in America, you get to realize a lot of things, because a lot of things has happened here that people are realizing out there. For example, when the civil rights, they were pushing equality rights, civil rights for all African Americans, all Black people here in America during Martin Luther King time. And he mentioned a phrase, an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So right now in Ethiopia, we saw all the injustice that was happening in Eritrea, and nothing was going to resolve that, and it spread. Now we're seeing what's happening in Tigray, and we're doing our best to resolve that. But if you notice, there's injustice happening in the Oromo region now. And so the idea of standing in solidarity is the importance of it is we have to take a stand. People say, which side are you choosing? We're choosing the side of justice. That's what the side we're choosing. And so that's by choosing that side, we just have to be consistent with it. And what it comes down to is us standing in solidarity, being from different countries and so forth, being from different, even for some people being from different ethnicities and so forth. That's a good sign. That's the place where you want to be, because eventually we're going to have to collectively stand together to stop all the injustice that's happening throughout the entire Africa. But for now, let's just focus on what we got right in front of us, which is all the injustice that's happening right now. So that's the importance of it. And that's the significant importance, because to take that stand means that you're not turning a blind eye to anything. And a lot of people, Africa will show you with the history of it, they turned a blind eye. And if you ever wonder about colonization and this and that, that's those leadership during that time turning a blind eye. As opposed to having a solidarity with your community, you chose to fulfill the divide and conquer concept. Next thing you know it, you have people fighting for generations and generations and generations. Boom. Now we're saying no, solidarity. Now we're saying let's stick to justice, and let's stick to the journey for justice and peace. So that's the importance of this stand that we're taking right now. So it makes sense to start it right now, especially with all the what we witnessed this past 2 years. So hope that answers the question, brother.
It does, but I'd love to hear from Danny and Eden as well.
Yeah, Eden, why don't you go, then I'll go next, please.
You got to unmute it.
Let's unmute you.
Yeah, for whatever reason, this is a tech issue happening left and right. TJ, can you repeat the question? I was thinking.
Sure, not a problem. So I was really asking, you have Eritreans and Tigrayans trying to come together, and I want to know from your point of view, either from one side or the other, why is this important to come together for Eritreans, and why is it important to come together, for the Tigrayans?
Well, the simple answer would be, as Yona said, we do not want to repeat the same history over and over again. I personally, this is my second war that I'm experiencing in my life, and I can only imagine what my parents and the elders are going through. So can you imagine the amount of time this is supposed to be us investing in our future, investing in the region, investing in our health and everything else. But here we are, we're back to square one. So we have to scrap and start over and rebuilding the region, right? Yes, Tigray has physically, mentally, and spiritually and everything else that they tried to destroy it. But the reality is, what's been happening, transparenting in Eritrea is also something that we have to be cautious. If you have a neighbor that's not, how do I put this in the right words? That's not up to par with the current state of the world. What do you do? Like it's forever going to be, it's an agony. Like I do not, when I'm like fulfilling my duty as a person and as a citizen, I would want to make sure my neighbor is also striving into, this world economy and world everything else. So I know I'm bringing like different perspective into this, but the reality is like the short answer to this would be we don't want the same war happening 10, 15, 20 years later. We want to be able to consolidate. We want to be able to think about the children that we haven't even birthed yet. Well, or for the ones that are here already, we want to make sure that we're paving the way and we're not going to be going back into a conflict again. So for me, coming together means looking at our future as youth, looking at our future, securing our lands, securing our coexistence, securing our families that are also tied by marriage, by blood, by culture, by region. To me, that's what it means working together. So if you look at it even geographically, Eritrea is it's in a border. It's literally a border that's dividing us, right? Compared to the rest of Ethiopia, they're the closest that we have. So is it better to find some sort of solution and being able to go and heal through the trauma that we went through? And one of them should be, the first step is acceptance. Yes, this happened to you guys. Yes, this happened to us. And then we can go to like, how do we resolve it? So that's why what it means to work with my brother and sisters here is to be able to say, I want to work together so we can secure peace in that region. Sorry, I've said a lot, but there's just
No, I appreciate it.
Great. You know what? Let me add also. I'm just so proud of to all of you here to stand with you guys. I can't wait to march in Washington D.C. from State Department to White House together in solidarity. So Jonas, it was great of you to join us last time we went to DC. Would even be bigger this time. So with that said, very important question, TJ. Look what happened to Tigray in the past 2 years. Again, devastating. How many countries? Tigray, including Eritrea, UAE, Turkey, Russia, Iran, China, just name it.
ENDF, I can see some more.
Yeah, supported it. As well, Somalia, all the regional forces from Ethiopia, including the Amhara Fano and Amhara militia. Look what they've done to Tigray, destroyed Tigray. And we can't do it alone. So we have to work together. We have to welcome people like the Wafri Salam Feast for Campaign to work together, to stand together and say no to this dictator, Isaias, or to other fascist regimes that are doing this to Tigrayan people. But that's not going to stop just in Tigray. And Isaias has done it in Eritrea. You all know that. Look how many refugees are all over. All the young people are out. Jonas. He's done it there. But this war is not going to stop. Eden mentioned what's happening in Oromia, what's happening everywhere else, and all the oppressed region. And then, when we say this, it's not even done. There are still Isaias military, Eritrean soldiers are still in Tigray doing the killing. And then Amhara forces are still doing this. So we just have to come together and then stand up to this dictators and fascist regimes, and we can't do it alone. Like I said, with that said, I know this is a fundraising event, and I have really good news. While we're talking, I received a news saying our brother Brahane Alamayo from Dallas, Texas, would like to donate $1,000 to this campaign. I would love for people to match, but I just want to say thank you to our brother Brahane Alamayo from Dallas. Thank you, Brahane.
No, that's amazing to hear. I want to thank Rahane as well. That's another $1,000 that will hopefully go towards a great event and a great goal. So I appreciate that. And Denny, I want to thank you for keeping the focus on the reason we're all here, to raise money to help people that really need it. So I really want to thank you for that. Eden, you brought up an important point that I kind of want to dive a little bit deeper on. Tigrayans and Eritreans really do have a lot of shared cultural mores, I guess is the best way I can put that, like a shared language, just there's a lot of things that already bring them together. My question for you and the rest of the team is, what more do you think you guys are looking for? Like, what kind of connections are you hoping to build between people? Because I know you're trying to bring willing people together, but what does it mean to bring those people together? Like, what relationships are you trying to build to bridge this gap that obviously exists? Oh, Eden, you're muted again. Let's see if we can fix it.
I got you.
There you go.
TJ, there's so many things that I can say, but due to like I said, the genocide is still ongoing, right? Despite the peace negotiation, it's still, the Eritrean troops are still around Adwa area, which is a Tigray region, Aksum and Shura area. They're still doing so much damage and still killing people. So if it's up to me, maybe this is a discussion for the next round of event. But for now, because of the trauma and the sensitivity that the community is going, I don't even want to dive into the cultural aspect or the lineage aspect, because I don't want it to sound like, gaslighting the community. And like I said earlier, people have their own way of dealing with trauma, and it's still fresh in the one. So for that reason, I don't want to go deep into it. But the ultimate goal, like I said, the ultimate goal is we are near each other. And even, like I said, culturally, religion, geography-wise, where we before Eritrea itself, Jonas, you can help me out here. Before the Eritrea declares independent, we are in one region, right? We are one culture, like you said. So that to me is like it's a gap in all this politics that got us here. But let me direct the question to Jonas Howie Nishtan Hagazani, and then I'll come back to that.
Yeah. So TJ, so it's like this. The way I look at it, what we can do to collectively together in solidarity is advocate for policies that bring peace and in the region, policies that brings accountability in the region, and also even rebuilding together. Like I had a vision one time. I think Dr. Nagasi can share this vision with me too, because I was thinking like in all the battlegrounds, for example, Bademe, and all the battlegrounds that are like significant in our history, it should be a place where we have full of institutions there, educational institutions, something we can rebuild and have a memory of what not to do, which is fight each other, right? That's what we should not be doing. And also advocating together for policies that's going to bring peace in the region, and also doing things where we can remember. For example, in Germany, right, they did commit a genocide on the Jewish community and so forth. And even if you weren't born in Germany and you went to Germany, you'll learn about the history. The reason why they always remind everybody about the history, so it never happened again. And so that's the kind of solidarity that I want, me personally. I want a solidarity so everybody understands what happened in the 40s, what happened in the 50s, what happened in 1896, what happened in 1961, what happened in 1998, what happened in 2020. Because by knowing what happened and how it was resolved, then now it'll be in a position where it doesn't get repeated again. And I can tell you this, if you go down to African history, go to...
Oh, it looks like we're having some audio issues. We'll give him a second to come back, and if he doesn't, we'll move on to the next question.
Yeah. So just until he comes back, the hope is, like I said, I would like to look at the bigger picture of where we're heading, because we have to stay 20 steps ahead in regards to, resolving the not just the conflict, but the community culture, the community collaboration. These are the things that we would like to enforce and work on, and to make sure that history is not repeating itself, and it starts with us. And this is a big step on its own. Yana, sorry, your audio was off, so go ahead.
That happens sometimes. Sometimes it's Wi-Fi. But what I was going to say was pick a country, any country in Africa, and you'll recognize the reason why they're in the situation that they're in is because of lack of solidarity and lack of justice, period. Pick a country, any country. Pick an ethnicity, any ethnicity. Lack of solidarity, lack of injustice. And then what happens is when those two things are ignored, next thing you know, you're teaming up with a group that you don't even know, you're just teaming up for whatever short-term reason. Next thing you know it, there's injustice going on. Next thing you know it, there's infighting going on. Next thing you know, you're killing your own brother and sister. So solidarity is definitely critical. So my thing for the question is, what can we do to work together? Number one, recognize everything that's been going on. Number two, just accept it for what it is, and then work together to change the policies that's going to change everything on the ground. And for example, one thing that will change everything on the ground is Abiy Ahmed not receiving any money until he is able to create peace in the region, get EDF out of the country and so forth. Isaias Afwerki to be directly sanctioned, him and his enablers to be sanctioned, where they can't move money around, where they can't fly back and forth, because that's the ultimate thing that's going to end the war, is going to be these two people being broken apart and being detained and being out of office, and including their enablers. That's how clear we got to be. That's how clear we got to be. And so that's, hope that gives you an idea of where our vision is.
No, it does. I appreciate that. You brought up a point that I kind of want to follow up on, and it's really understanding the history of the region and making sure people are aware of how you got to where we are. How good of a job or how bad of a job do you think countries in Africa, specifically Ethiopia, do in teaching people the history of your own nation? Like, how much do you think the diaspora does or doesn't know about the entire history of Ethiopia and how we got to where we are now based on where we've been?
Danny, you want to answer this one?
Actually, I was trying to monitor the chats and those to see if any donations come in. How are we doing, guys, with the donations? But if you want to repeat the question, I can go ahead. Otherwise, Jonas, I'll let you answer the question.
Sure,
Okay.
I'll repeat it. This was just a follow-up to something Jonas had said. The idea was that if you go to Germany today, you will learn a lot of the history of World War II because they hold it so important to explain it so that it never repeats itself. My question to you, based on that, is how good or bad of a job does Ethiopia and other countries in Africa do teaching their own history to avoid repeating it in the same way that countries like Germany do?
Yeah, no, thank you. Very important question, actually. As a matter of fact, what has happened to Tigray has been happening, name it, from Minilik region to Haile Selassie has done the same thing, bombed its own country, it's bombed Tigray, Mengistu Haile Mariam. We have not learned. Then Abiy is doing the same thing, and then of course he comes up. Well, they, come up with the peace agreement now. But what about justice? We're talking about over 600,000 civilians killed, and then over 120,000 women and girls raped. These are not my numbers. These are not the numbers from Tigray. You all know that. Human Rights Watch numbers. And again, how do we stop this from ever happening again? And of course, through justice and through holding people accountable. And then, of course, this needs to be done by the international communities, international courts. Then we move on. But by working together, as we are here, to make sure that this never happens, not just only in Tigray, but other regions in Ethiopia, as well as Eritrea. That's how we stop it, I think, by working together and then holding this criminals accountable. Thank you.
I appreciate that. And I would love to ask you a follow-up question about the importance of other countries, getting involved and helping to improve the situation. But I'm going to hold off on that and actually go to an earlier point that was brought up and ask you guys, what are your thoughts on the current peace agreement? That was something that had been briefly mentioned, and I wanted to make sure that was one of the questions I asked. I'm not going to lead that in any way. I'm really just going to ask, there is a peace agreement out there, and what do you guys think about it in the current situation?
You want me to answer? Okay, I'll throw. So on the peace agreement, the way I look at it is right now it's a ceasefire agreement in exchange for humanitarian aid, and the burden, in my opinion, is going to be on ENDF or Abiy, for that matter, to fulfill the agreement. He has two choices. Either choice one is protect his civilians and stop from all the deaths happening and betray Isaiah's partnership. Choice two, commit or continue his treason and then lose power. Those are the two options he has. That's why the peace agreement is designed. I know a lot of people, they put disarmament as like the key point, but in my opinion, the disarmament is impossible because the disarmament has a thing on it where it says based on security concerns, based on security on the ground, based on security. And the reality is hate was taught for more than 2 years in that region against the people of Tigray, period. Because hate was taught, it can't be turned around in 24 hours, 30 days, 1 year. You know what I mean? Hate is hate. And that's a big security concern. And number two, there's Ethiopian troops in Eritrea. There's Eritrean troops in Tigray. Even if Eritrean troops leave Tigray, what's to stop them from coming back in, even if they go back to Eritrea with the Ethiopian troops that's already there? So security concern is a big deal. So based off that, like I said, the burden is going to be on Abiy's government to fulfill the humanitarian aid, to protect the civilians, and then Fano and so forth, EDF and so forth, all have to leave Tigray. Is the reality of the situation. So it's going to be an interesting situation. So that's my 2 cents.
No, I appreciate that. Edna?
Sorry, I'm gonna chip in a little bit.
Yep.
TJ, there's, I mean, we have to put it this way. Whatever they signed, it sounds like from what we're seeing, the steps the Tigray government is taking is they're prioritizing the people and the humanitarian need that's been there for 2 years, right? Tigray has been under siege. The Ethiopian government have taken a lot of systematic strategy to make sure the blockade still and stays on. Even right now, currently, with all this peace being signed, they've been allowing, let's say, 2 trucks a day, and then use that for their propaganda and marketing strategy to say, oh yeah, we're following along, with what we signed. But the reality on the ground is the head of the Tigray Health Bureau, as well as Ida Hospital, which is the biggest hospital that there is in the capital city of Tigray, has been saying, we did get the 2 trucks that was brought in. However, when they opened it, one of them was just more of used, like, they didn't have the essential medications that they requested and they direly, like, they needed for their patients. For example, the insulins for any cancer patients, they needed those medications to give to the patients. But what they discovered is that at the checkpoints, I don't know which checkpoints there are at this point, I'm a bit not keen. There's 2. Okay. So the Ethiopian ENDF soldiers, as well as the Eritrean troops, they do the check-in. So what they did is they replaced it. Either they took out the medication that's needed and replaced it with gloves and other, like, surgical equipment, not equipments, but what they need. And that's what they brought in. These are also essential, but however, what's needed is the medication to save this patients. So as you can imagine, they're still imposing the siege on the people of Tigray. So did the Ethiopian and the Tigray government did the right thing by signing this? I would say it's one step forward to what needs to get done. But by any means, the Ethiopian government has actually not held its own bargain. When they signed this peace deal, they are still systematically oppressing the people of Tigray and preventing for medications or any sort of fuels to get in, so that the people are being, they get what they need. So that's my view on that. And earlier you mentioned about the historical dilemma in regards to not repeating this war, like history in Ethiopia. And as Danny mentioned, we are here today because of the historical theft that has been that continuously is happening because of the so-called Amhara elites. When I say this, I emphasize not everyone is like that, but historically, when you look at it, from Menelik to Haile Selassie to Derg, this is the fastest way of thinking. It's the land grabbing, destroying historical places, wiping out, committing ethnic cleansing so that they can move people from the Amhara region to the Tigray. Even to this day, the Ethiopian government is bringing in a rhetoric to say the Walqaites and Raya region belong to the Amhara region. That to me is the most bizarre thing you could ever say, because the land itself, the name of the land, this language is Tigrayan. They're Tagaro. So that's why they're committing ethnic cleansing, because so they could do land grabbing. And that has been happening way back 50, 60, 70 years prior. So who's going to stop this? It's us. Like I said earlier, why did we come together? Is we're standing for peace because we don't want the same history to repeat itself. And also being able to write those books and being able to document it this time, so that we're not going to be met with the same fate that we're dealing right now.
Yeah,
So
great
that's
point, Ed. And if I can just add real quickly, by the way, please, you guys, I just wanted to remind everyone, this is a fundraising event. Please donate. This is to save Tigray. Please donate. And then also subscribe to Campaign for Peace YouTube page. I encourage everyone to subscribe the Campaign for Peace YouTube page. And I know our brother KETO wants to say a few words.
Yes.
Very brief, but I just wanted to make sure, just I say this. Of course, peace is the way. And with that said, peace without justice is nothing to me. And of course, we need to work for asking for justice. But with this peace agreement, the Tigray government has given just so much concession, as you all know. All the concessions that were given, I was just really surprised. But at the same time, this is, like Eden said, this is to save people, to allow humanitarian access to happen. But what's the simplest thing to do, really? Wouldn't you open a bank, the banks that have been closed for 2 years? What would it take to open? This peace deal has been signed over 20 something days. The banks are still closed. These are banks that owe people money. That's, this is, the Tigrayans haven't seen their money, their hard work earned money that are still sitting in the bank that they can't even access to it after the peace deal is signed. What does it take? So that's we need to push to American government and other international communities, hold the Abiy government accountable. Jonas said an important point earlier. Hey, the burden is on Abiy for this peace agreement to succeed. But with that said, please donate everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'd like to pass it over to Captain Eritrea now. I believe he has a couple words for us.
Is he? Which one is his?
I think it's KETO wants to say.
Oh, it's KETO. I'm sorry.
KETO, not Captain. I don't think Captain is here. But
Yeah,
please be brief. Thank you.
Which one's KTO? Which name?
KETO is a radio station from Denver, Colorado. He's live in Denver. Also, he's live on.
Oh, there he is, right there. Yeah, go ahead, KTO. I think.
All right. Yeah, I'm not sure we have him with us.
No, he can't hear us. It's all good.
Okay.
how I think he's recording.
All right. Thank you so
transmitting.
much, TJ, and then Danny. Ed. I'm right.
No, Katzel.
Go ahead, KETO.
You're up.
You want to say something?
Oh, Johan Katzel.
Okay, you guys. I hope you guys can hear me. Thanks so much, and everybody.
Yeah, for a second.
I think he's having technical difficulties. TJ, we can have him back, and then if you want to continue, please.
All right, perfect. Yeah, we'll move on if we can get him back. We'll
I
get him
think.
back.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. I thought you guys did not hear me. Okay. Yes. Thank you. I just want to be more brief about the agreements. I think the mediators also have a responsibility. I don't know if you guys know the agreements on certain pages says there will be a check and balance with 10 appointee from the African Union. But as far as I'm concerned, the agreement is being taken seriously with international community, but there is no watchdog who can say, this agreement is in effect, because it looks like the Ethiopian government is taking advantage. And also, as soon as this agreement just came out, the next day, the prime minister announced there's a victory. It's just something that want to take advantage to them. But at the same time, for those of us who follow the history and also the Ethiopian constitution, it just implies exactly what the Tigray government wants, or the Tigray Authority and Tigray wants, which is exactly explicitly it says in constitution. That's what they want to at least uphold during the agreement. And I think the Ethiopian government just kind of focus on a disarmament. But as far as the Ethiopian constitution concerned, this disarmament is based on what other region are on hold, which means the Tigrayans they just use the word disarm, but it doesn't say in the constitution disarm. But it says not to have a specific weaponaries, and that's it. But Tigray still not be disarmed as far as in the constitution, but they just wanted to, use that word to make the point on Ethiopian side. So they that's why they want the Ethiopian population beside the Tigrayan population to notice that they just disarmed the TPLF and what have you, and they're trying to use that propaganda. But the whole point should supposed to be, the first words should come out, at least like we all saying here, the humanitarian access and humanitarian delivery should be on time. Social services should be back on track. Those are things should be focused. And just like, the airport was not even open to public yet. And even the Red Cross was waiting to deliver international. Even Ethiopian government does not have anything. I mean, they say they deliver trucks. I mean, that's not their truck. That's not they cannot even feed their own, but they get it from the international community. They still uphold it. They wanted to look the good boy. They say they wanted to do it themselves. That's why they blow. Go back to my air, but I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, KT.
Okay, thank you.
TJ, I want to add to his.
And I think the Zoom is. I think somebody's hiked the Zoom.
Yeah, we took him out. So I think that there's a little lag time on the communication, but it's okay. So I'm glad you guys removed that screen. But here's the part I want to emphasize. I want to add to what KETO said. The peace agreement, it's a crazy situation. So pretty much the agreement was, and the agreement actually proves that there was a genocide, by the way. And the agreement pretty much says, hey, we're going to give you humanitarian access for food and aid in exchange for an agreement at some point in the future to disarm. So that means before the peace agreement, they blocked food and aid intentionally to a group of people, Tigray. So they just admitted in writing on November 2nd, 2022, that they committed genocide. That's the logic that I'm trying to put out there right now is you don't even need to do any investigation right now. They already admitted to it. They literally said that we'll give you food and aid, right, to Tigray. Intentionally, we'll give you food and aid if you agree to disarm at a later future if all the security concerns are addressed. All right. And then we'll also, on top of that, we'll also restore your basic human needs. They said that. So that means before, intentionally, they blocked the human needs. So congratulations, Abi. You just admitted that you're guilty of genocide and all his partners along with him. So that's what I just wanted to emphasize. So thank you, KETO.
I appreciate that. And I appreciate the feedback or the speeches from KETO. One of the things I wanted to loop it back to is kind of the reason we're all here. This is to raise money, and I want to make sure we keep that front and center. So my next question is really to go right back to that and ask, I know our goal is $2 million. What is the goal? What is the purpose of fundraising here? I know it's not just for the solidarity event, but what are we trying to do as we raise money here? Thank you, KTO. And that's for any of the three of you. Like, what is the reason we're all here? Essentially, I guess that's the easiest way to say that. What are we fundraising for?
You guys have been saying it over and over again. That not just today. I'm talking about throughout. There is not a working, a functioning hospital in Tigray because it's been intentionally destroyed. Schools, who destroys schools, you guys, that are destroyed, even in the capital city, schools have been destroyed. And so really just to help Tigrayans that are just so devastated at this point. That's just this money and solidarity is being raised. I know it's a small amount, 2 million, but you know what? That's a start. It's just really to help Tigray. That's what it is, and it goes through the legitimate group called TDA is the one who's collecting this money to make sure that it gets delivered straight to Tigray. So please donate. Please donate. Just with that said, I myself like to add $300 to this campaign. So let's go, please. I'm challenging everyone, all the listeners, to donate. Thank you.
No, I appreciate that. I actually have a story here. Really, you can donate however you can, whoever you can find to help support these causes is important. I have one story from the Denver area where we have a family who made the decision to flip their script this year. Every year they do a Secret Santa where they give gifts between the family. This year they're going to take that same tradition, and instead of giving gifts, they're going to use it to help add donations to this cause. So, like I said, I think it's important to just find any way you can to help. My question, and this is just to follow up. Sorry, I gotta think about the way to ask this. We have all these different organizations coming together to help raise money. So I guess my follow-up question for Eden and Jonas is how is raising money together going to help these organizations who aren't one single organization? In other words, yeah, you can see why I paused so I could articulate this question more clearly. How are these organizations coming together under one event that we're raising money for? I guess is a better way to ask that question. Because are you just assisting like a campaign for peace, or is it really, are they coming together to do one event together with the money we're raising? Like how is this coming together?
For me, I like the concept. It's everybody working together to raise money to give to TDA, for TDA to do what they do with it in terms of development in the country and helping people in the country. But here's the beautiful thing about it. When the people on the ground receive the money, it's nice for them to know it came from a collective of Eritreans and Tigrayans working together. Back when the war first started, actually, I reached out. Well, I don't want to put them on blast, but here in Vegas, I reached out to somebody who was not from Tigray, who was not from Eritrea. He was from Ethiopia, and I'm not going to say exactly like who he is and so forth. But when I reached out to him, the first thing I said to him, let's work together. Let's get all the community and the diaspora to work together in order to start helping every ethnicity that we can, so they understand that it's a collective thing. So they don't think it's an ethnic thing, and just to show that there's people out there that care. And I was surprised to hear the response. It's too soon is what I heard as a response. I'm like, what? Too soon? Mm-hmm. It's never too soon to do the right thing is my ultimate conversation with them. So we cut off conversation, cut off ties and so forth. And later on, a year later, we spoke again, and I reminded them about that conversation. And like I said, even that point in time, we still can do the same thing. We still can collectively work together. So my point is, it's never too late to do the right thing. And the idea is when somebody receives food and aid and so forth from a collective effort, it's nice for them to know where it came from. It came from a good place, from people working collective together, so they can know in that dark period of time when they're witnessing what they're witnessing, there are people out there that actually do care, that happens to be from the same people that caused them grievance. So that's what I wanted to share.
No, I appreciate that. That makes a lot of sense.
TJ, I'm adding.
No, absolutely, please.
Yeah, it's Jonas brought up a great point, is that it's never too early or too late to do the right thing. And what a better way of fighting the good fight, but together. So to me, yeah, this started, when it started, actually started in the right time. Because earlier, I think it was Danny who mentioned about, this war started because of the hate that's been taught from one generation to the next, right? As of Tagaro, as far as I know from my own household, I was never taught to hate others. I was never taught they did this to us, so you need to be doing this. All I know is that, like, do the right thing. Even if you don't like them, still do right by them. And that sound it's as much as it sounds like a virtue, you know, to me it's like do the right thing no matter what. Don't do any harm that you don't want to be done to you to others. So even though Tigray has been attacked by so many foreign entities, including by, you know, Turkey and the UAE providing all these drones, and then you have the Eritrean government also putting themselves aligning themselves with the current Ethiopian government to do the harm that they thought they were going to do. Which they did, by the way, but did not win. Coming together means it's not just for fundraising. I think to me, this is more of like, you know, here's our part. This is how we're gonna contribute to the internal peace that we want with you guys. That's what collectively, that's what the Eritrean community is doing here with us. That what I see right now is a great it's a great start. But what does it mean for the 13 different organizations coming together? Is it just this event, or is it going to continue? I wish and I pray to God that it does, because I don't want to look over my shoulder and say, what now? Like, I really do want to work together, being able to show them what our community, what my culture taught me, and also what they were taught, for them to come into this virtue and this way of, you know, approaching things, so that we're able to prevent things from happening in the near future. So to me, I think this is, for me, this is the beginning. And I'm pretty sure for a majority of you, Fabian and Jonas and everyone here, I feel like this is not, I don't think this is it. And if that was the case, it would have been like a different way of approaching it. They wouldn't have gone to this lengths to be fighting with us the past 2 years and saying, I'm here with you, next to you. And then to be able to say, okay, this is the end goal. I don't think that's the case, but I'll let them speak up. So please, Hawate, sorry,
This is continuous. In fact, I mean, TJ, in my opinion, this started back in this collective effort started back, in my opinion, in my world, started February 25th, 2021 for me. And the reason why I can say that date specifically is because I remember seeing Eritrean flags and Tigrayan flags at a protest collectively together in Indiana. And then I remember what Andre Carson said and so forth in regards to Joe Biden's policy and Harris and Vice President Harris' policy on Africa and so forth. So, I mean, this is the collective thing. So we naturally did it socially. It wasn't like a formal thing. And then it started becoming more formalized as time went by, you know, and this is where we are now. So this collective solidarity, I think, is going to be a thing. It's only natural. And I hope it inspires other communities to be in solidarity towards the same journey of justice and peace as well. There's no reason to be in solidarity and then fight with each other. That doesn't make sense, because ultimately at the end of the day, as diaspora, we have to create international policies that incentivizes justice and peace in the region. We can't have policies that makes it unfair in Africa. I mean, if you look at the size of Ethiopia and Eritrea put together, it's about the size of India. India has over 1 billion people there. And then we have, what, 120 million? What are we arguing about? So the reality is, we just have to figure out what the core issues are. And I mean, the reality of it, the core issue is just not protecting human rights, in my opinion. The core issue is literally not protecting human rights, indigenous rights, and so forth. Once that issue is protected, we collectively are protecting that, then everything else, all the business transactions, all the business agreements, all that will fall in place where it needs to fall in. But you can't have people land grabbing. You can't have, if they're going to cleanse people for land grabbing, that just tells you where their priorities are. It's definitely not protecting human rights. That doesn't make sense. So that's the core, in my opinion. So yeah, it's continuous, Ed.
All right. You brought up something I thought was very interesting. So you went to an event in Indiana, you saw Eritrean, you saw flags together, And my question to you is, do you think that was planned, or do you think you just see people in the community coming together kind of naturally?
Oh, I think that day it was planned for that protest over there. Actually, it was a global protest, so yeah, it was planned. I guess you could say it was planned. But what I'm saying it wasn't popular back then. I guess is the best way to put it. You know what I mean? But we did it. All right, people that did it, but before that protest happened, people have natural marriages. They have natural relations among one another in Eritrea and Tigray, even for the whole Ethiopia, for that matter. What the sad part is, because of what was taught over the years, people keep their identity secret. I can't even imagine doing that. Keep an identity secret. And we shouldn't be in that position. Everybody should be able to say, hey, I'm Eritrean. Hey, I'm Tigrayan. Hey, I'm Oromo. Hey, I'm Hada. So my thing is, if you can't be true to yourself and so forth, then you're going to act like you're somebody else and then create an injustice to somebody else. Oh, that's just too much going in circles. That just doesn't make sense.
Makes sense. Danny, it sounds like we're going to lose you in just a couple of minutes. So before you leave, I just wanted to give you the last chance to really say any last words you wanted to say, either about fundraising or coming together or solidarity or the event. I want to give you the floor for just a minute.
Well, I want to make sure everybody knows that this event is not over. It's still continuing. I have to leave due to prior engagement. But listen, you guys, this guys here works so hard. It's not just a talk. They talk to work. I mean, Jonas, Captain Eritrea, I see this guys every single day fighting. Jonas, Captain Eritrea, one of the biggest fighters I've seen during the two bills promoting and explaining these bills and why this is so important. I'm talking about HR 6600, those bills. So Jonas, I really appreciate you. Fabian, Captain Eritrea, of course, Eden, TJ, thank you for hosting this. Please let's push you guys raising this money. KETO, you do an amazing job always from the beginning, and then you're doing it now. Thank you. But yeah, really, I just want to say thank you to Dr. Nagasi and Team Solidarity Events. We can do this $2 million. I like the way Rahel Fiorina, our sister, says it's not just $2 million. We're going to raise more. Yeah. She says, why 2 million? Why not 5 million? So I know we can do it. Let's keep going. I encourage everyone here to donate. All our audiences who live in, here in the United States. It's Thanksgiving week. It's a giving week. Please donate. People in Canada, Europe, I encourage all of you to donate and to help save Tigray. And then those who live in Saudi and other Middle Eastern countries as well, we need your help. We can't do it alone. Let's go. Please support this cause. Thank you, TJ. You guys have a great one.
And thank you, Danny. Thank you for attending. Appreciate that. He brought up actually an important point that I'm not sure we're prepared to talk about, but if you guys are, I'd love to hear more about it. We have two bills moving through Congress right now. He listed one of them, the HR 660. And I really don't know a lot about those. If either of you are in any way prepared to talk about them, I would appreciate hearing more. Like I said, if you're not, that's okay. But if you guys know anything, can you share anything?
This is Katie. Whoever is speaking, I can go next, or if you allow me. Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Thank you. I mean, I follow this very patiently, as you know, as a media, but it's on the radar. But I think this is both bills are being created by United States government, so they trying to see which way is the Ethiopian government is going, so they want to look at it during their advantage at the same time. But the State Department also has not come up with a the word, just to name the Ethiopian Authority as committing genocide. So they got caught in the middle, and also this agreement came up. So they're trying to make like the Ethiopian government like is doing the right thing, or maybe going to the right track. So they don't want to scare the Ethiopian government, which is you've been doing this for the past 2 years. Even they, technically speaking, begging the Ethiopian government to open the siege for the humanitarian assistance, which is that's technically, legally speaking, that's a crime. So United States know that, but just like introducing the bills, they just wanted to look at it. They say that they've been doing the right thing. It's just to consume for the future, for the to back this on the history. But for the implementation, there's some few Congress members and some others are still, they like to pass that, but they just wanted to see what the State Department move is on the plate. But at the same time, I just wanted to make sure for my brothers and sisters here and those who listen to us and watch us, and I just wanted to mention I know this is a media outlet. Within 2 weeks, there's a lot of African leaders are coming to Washington, D.C., and this will be a great opportunity for those who lives in DC area, for those of us who can travel to that. And this is like to make an accountable for the African Union with an agreement. So they should have, every African leader should know about what's going on in Ethiopia, and especially what the Ethiopian government have done. And this agreement should not be just like a slap on the face and that's it. There's no authority accountable for the committing atrocity. So that's the picture. But the State Department also have to come up, just like the Secretary Blinken just said the history of how Ukraine was attacked by Russia so many years ago, and it was just the same way how Ethiopian government done to Tigrayans. So we wanted to see Secretary Blinken also has to come up with same statement that the African continent, because as you know, I think, and this is my opinion, the government is also playing a little prejudiciously. This is an African issue. They wanted to push it to the African Union. When it comes to Israel issue or the Russian issue, they bring it to themselves into United Nations. When it comes to Africa, they push it to Africa because they know African Union does not even have a budget. The budget is surviving by African Union and America. They give it. Even the current agreement was provided by United States. So African Union don't even have anything. They don't have no teeth or leg or anything. It just survives. So almost all 53 countries in Africa, they all experience dictatorship and atrocity and what have you. So they cannot speak to themselves, and if they cannot protect themselves, they don't know the experience. So America have a huge responsibility. So for those of you who are in DC area, so when 2 weeks, when the African delegation come to the State Department and what have you, I think that's the time to voice and hopefully reach out to those leaders and anywhere they stay so that we can explain to them professionally. Of course, it's not a protest, but I'm just advocating as of to let them know exactly, because this is the time, because they don't see the pictures in Africa. Nobody will tell them. Abiy using the African Union for his own tool to make look Ethiopia, has been attacked by international community. So this is what I'm saying. Thanks so much.
No, thank you. I do think it's important to remember not every gathering is a protest. Going there to advocate for something that you guys want is just as important as the regular protests you see going to push against something you guys don't like. So I do want to just remind everyone that I think one of the important things here is that you guys are approaching this from a very positive angle, from this idea of coming together to support something you want rather than trying to push against something you hate. I think there's always a lot more value in coming from a place of love rather than coming from a place of hate. So I really do appreciate that. One of the things I wanted to continue on, Eden, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you if you have thoughts.
No, I was gonna say what Kito said. It's the truth, and I'm even more disgusted the fact that the Biden administration decided to invite Abiy Ahmed into this summit. To me, what a better way of promoting dictators and promoting war criminals. Ethiopia, the whole 2 years we've been fighting for Ethiopia to be removed from AGWA, that's the Agriculture and Trade Mark, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know the whole, I forgot the whole acronym, but the point is, if you do not abide by the human rights, by law, rules and regulations and policies, then you do not deserve to be in this meetings, in the stables. But the fact that he's been invited here is absolutely, to me, disgusting. And it should not have happened, because it's also another way of the Biden administration sending a message. It's okay if you do this, we're going to just give you a slap in the hand and you'll still be invited and you'll still be part of this circle. That to me is a big message, and something as a citizen here, makes me question too, what are we fighting for? Injustice is not just happening in Tigray. There's a lot of injustice happening here in the States as well. So to me, I don't know. I don't have enough emotions like to express my anger. The fact that he's going to be here in the States and be sitting amongst world leaders and actually interacting. So that says a lot. And as of the bills, I know it has quieted down a bit, but I think they're just holding on to it. And the failure of the State Department is still where we are today in regards to the Tigray genocide. We had said never again before, right? The State Department director himself, he's Jewish himself, and he talked about how his grandparents went through that and how he said never again. But yeah, when it comes to Tigray and the likes of Tigray genocide and causes, it's still no action. So action speaks louder than words. The fact that now we're in so-called temporary, I would say, peace negotiation, they could have prevented it. They could absolutely have prevented it. If the Trump administration did not give the green light, we wouldn't have been here today. Once even he was out, the Biden administration and the State Department could have done so much to prevent it, instead of just going along with, oh, this is just a domestic issue and they're going to figure it out. That's not how it goes. So I have a lot to say about this foreign policy and what's been happened in the past 2 years. But the reality is he's going to be here. We're going to go protest. We're going to go show them that who you invited is actually belongs in the ICC, not in the soil and the state of in the United States of America. So I'm ready for that. At the end of this, I would love to say a few things to our Tigrayan speaking viewers, and to make sure to donate. I think that part of this donation is also going. Understand that we had this whole month is gender-based violence awareness month. So I want to recognize the women of Tigray who have gone through this war crime, have been raped by troops. I want to say, want to be able to recognize that the survivals are still here, and we want to be able to use this fund to help and support them and find some sort of comfort in that and healing journey. So please guys, please donate. Azin Hizb Tigrayu, Azin Dek Tigrayu, Azin Qol Tigrayu. Please, sorry. Please أحوالكم السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم. We have to be able to help our people. We have to be able to consolidate with this. So بجاكم donate كوارو حجزوهم حزبكم. إستمع يقولوا كنحكم كنا بالله زحمة كنحكم تقينا. We have to say okay to people that are coming to support us and showing us remorse. TJ, sorry, I'm going to come back and summarize this at the end, but I just can't. We have the privilege to sit here and talk about this. We have the privilege to sit here and being able to say, you know, we can do this and we can help. But the reality is they're the ones that are suffering. So to me, the least I can do is come here and help and protest and speak for the people that are not able to speak. even if I have to beg for people to donate so that the people are going to be helped, because of political issues. Our people are the ones that are dying. The civilians are the one that's affected by this. So excuse me, if you see these tears, it's okay. I rather cry and wipe my tears and get back up and help my people. So please, please, guys, donate, share this link, share the tip hub, and we should be able to go from there. Go ahead. Sorry, excuse me a second.
No, it's absolutely fine. I appreciate that. Jonas, please.
Yeah, thank you, Eden. That was good. You're 100% correct. Make sure everybody donates. This is an important occasion that we want to make this a solidarity event, and so that way we can help rebuild. I want to talk about on December 13th, 14th, and 15th. That's actually going to be an interesting time. I'm glad you guys mentioned that. The African leaders are invited here to the White House, and that's going to be a good opportunity to remind everybody the importance of human rights, the importance that we need to hold Abiy accountable. And so I know people are already working closely together to have a protest right there at the White House on that part. And one of the biggest mistakes that I guess we could say America has is they don't put human rights as the top as a priority when they make foreign policy. And the evidence is the reality, right? The fact that everything's going on in Tigray is evidence for that. And then they seem to be playing a balancing act with the whole Russia, China on Ethiopia, balancing act on Ethiopia in this for the sake of all the other interests that is that's in play. So the reality is, without human rights, nobody's interest is going to be served. That's the reality of the situation. If you want a good trade relation, you got to have good human rights. If you want a good security situation, you got to have good human rights. That's the reality of the situation. If you don't, then what's going to end up happening is you're always going to have to be worried about the next destabilization, the next dictator. And so at this event, if you notice, Isaias is not invited. And so if you notice, some other people that we think should not be invited is invited. So it's unfortunate, you know, people like Abiy is invited, but the reality is now this is our opportunity to put him on blast and advocate, hold him accountable, because the peace agreement, again, proves the genocide in itself. The peace agreement alone does that. And the reality is the Agua agreement does not, it's canceled right now. And that's a significant blow and a reminder. And it's going to remain canceled is what they said until everything's addressed. EDF is out of the country and or out of Tigray for that matter. And then also until Tigrayans are out of prison and then humanitarian food and aid is distributed and so forth. So here as diaspora, we got to focus on what we can do. And what we can do is raise money to rebuild Tigray, to help the people, to show that it's a collective effort. That's what we can do. And as long as we focus on what we can do and we do it collectively, we're going to be making change in the right direction. So thank you, TJ.
No, I really appreciate that. We are running up near the end of our time here, but I really want to end this with a positive message if we could. And I know it's tough because I know there's a lot of hurt, and Ed, and I really appreciate you going through this. I know everything you're feeling is real, and I got to respect that. So don't feel bad about anything you're feeling right now. It's, you know, it's true. But like I said, just to try to keep this on the positivity, on the solidarity, on what the mission really is, I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to talk about any stories or any like solidarity feelings or instances that you guys have seen that really gave you hope that what we're doing is possible. Like, what makes you think that that this is a real dream that we can achieve together?
We back in 2021, a Team Freedom.
Oh no, it looks like a little bit of a audio issue again.
Jonas, you got it? Did we meet that?
Back in 2021, I don't know why that happens. But anyway, back in 2021, Team Freedom did a blanket drive, and it was a solidarity event. It was Tigrayans and the Eritreans working together It was $7 for one blanket, is pretty much what we were pushing for. And then within 30 days, I think we collected about $9,000 and so forth. And so we were able to contribute that to TDA. And so that was a huge event for us. So we know from experience that this can be done. So now Campaign for Peace took it to another level, got 14 organizations together, and this is where we are now. So I appreciate it. That's my story, TJ.
No, I appreciate that. And so, like I said, since we're running up on time, Aiden, I'll leave it up to you for the last story of the evening, if you're willing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Jordanis is also here with us. I'll take up just maybe 1 minute. I just want to say that, send a message to our community that working together doesn't mean we're forgetting what happened. Working together doesn't mean you're not going to go through the different emotions, as you witnessed already. I was okay talking, but at the end of the day, what I've seen and what I know, it kicks in. So it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to let the people you're working with, hey, I don't feel this right now. I'm upset. And still being able to say, like, they will still stand by you and with you. Just wanted to let you know that. And be able to continue to work together to bring in justice to all the women that have gone through the rape, to the mother that lost their son, their husbands, their kids, just to be able to say, I'm still going to continue to speak up. I'm going to advocate for them. I'm going to walk hand in hand for peace. And on top of that, being able to bring in the revenue to help them, to restore a little bit of their faith, to restore a little bit of the infrastructure that they've lost. Danny mentioned earlier, if they could lift at least the about the banks, the siege, if you lift the siege and allow the banks to be open, actually a lot of the money has been stolen. A lot of the things that we had in Tigray was already been looted by the Fano Amhara militias and also by the Eritrean troops. It's been already, taken away or destroyed or burned. So to be able to fundraise means a whole lot. It might be like that $5. Starbucks is not even $5 anymore. That $10 that you were using for Starbucks, that can be over a month, you already collected $30. So being able to donate so that you can feed the people and take care of them it's a huge thing. It's a big thing. So please donate as you can. It doesn't have to be your pocket. Just share the link, the Tip Hub link, with your network and outside of your network. If you're on the bus, just airdrop it to everyone that's on the bus. If you're at work, just let them know about what you're going through. So that's the message that I want to send. And you will keep seeing us doing the same thing, going live and talking to people, and also protesting on January 13th in DC. So please plan ahead and show with us in solidarity and continue to bring in different communities. Jordi, TJ, I'm gonna pass the mic to Jordanis.
No, thank you. Definitely.
Jordanis, unmute. Unmute, Allah.
Let's see if I can get.
Okay, now it's working. Thank
There
you.
we go.
Yeah. Thank you. I am so impressed by all of you guys. It just TJ was asking what gives us the hope that this is gonna work. We're just here. No amount of money is gonna heal through all this pain that they're going through. As an Eritrean, I'm just here to let them know that I'm here with you. I feel your pain. Eritrea has been going through this by the dictator government for so long. So many kids, so many families have suffered through this as an Eritrean. So we kind of know, maybe not as much as what they're going through right now, but we know what they're going through. We know their pain. We feel their pain. And this is our brothers and sisters. We saw when it was the peace, when the peace came, the people, when they see each other, they hug each other, they jump with each other. The people love each other. There's so many people who love Tigrayans, and there's so many Tigrayans that love Eritreans. And of course, we have so many bad people in the middle that making all this happening. You know, the rape, all that stuff. It is happening, and I feel so sorry, and I feel so helpless. All I can do is just show my support, do whatever that I can do to let them know that I'm here for them. Then I'm here with them. I feel their pain. Just, you know, I see Eden crying. It's heartbreaking, but you know, all of us, we feel your pain. And then all the people that, if you can stop having Starbucks for a month, it's not gonna kill you. But imagine the life that you're saving with that money. So just please donate as much as you can, wherever that you can, and it'll be much appreciated. And I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. And that's it for me. Thank you.
No, thank you too as well. I appreciate the time that everyone's taken here to talk about the situation and talk about the event being planned. Just to make sure that I'm ending with it. This has really been about raising money for the Solidarity event taking place on MLK weekend, January 13th, 14th, 15th of next year. We're going to have this stream up on YouTube after we end it here, and we're going to be able to share that around for everyone who wasn't able to attend here live to watch us. So one last chance for you guys who have been so helpful, and I appreciate your time, to give any last words before we call this, or anything else you'd like to share.
Well, the main thing I would share is focus on what you can do. Focus on protecting each other's rights. Focus on respect and recognizing each other's pain, and give yourself an opportunity to be able to create a reconciliation environment. That's the best thing I can say right there. And also make sure you donate to this cause too. So thank you, TJ.
Thank you.
Well said, Yanase. Yeah, absolutely. I would say the work starts now. Please don't wait until the doors to Tigray open. The work starts right now. You can start with your own community.
What's that?
As you've been speaking up for the voiceless the past 2 years, I think you should still be able to do that within your own community, and just pick up the phone and call people and say, hey, what happened is not right. And I think that the past 2 years we have not talked, but we need to start now. So let this be an example for, I guess, anyone that has been hurt and been doubting and saying, is there ever going to be humanity? You're seeing it's in front of you. It takes courage. It takes courage is what I want to say. And it's you should be able to take just one step at a time, and being able to participate in from far. That's one thing. And also to kind of summarize in Tigraynya, أحواتي تسرح ዝጅመር ሕዚ እዩ እስካዕ በር ዝኽፈት ናይ ትግራይ ክንፅበዮ የብልናን እናስ መፂ ምሳና ክሕግዘኩም እየ ክሰርሕ እየ ከምዚ ኮንኩም ኢኹም ተረዲእና እዩ I feel your pain ዝብል ሰብ ማለት እዩ ክንቅበሎ ኣለና ክንሰርሕ ኣለና ብሓደ ማለት እዩ ሶ ትሎማዓንቲ ንገብሮ ዘለና ምስካዕ ጃንዋሪ 13 14 15 ናይ ወፍሪ ሰላም ኢሎም ኣሕዋትና እዚ ኣምፅኦምዎ ዘለዉ ካምፔይን ክንሕግዞም ይግባእ መፂና እውን ዶኔት ክንገብር ንኽእል ጋሻ ኮንኩም መፂኹም ኣብዚ ምሳና ክትሕወስ ተልኩም እውን ፕሊዝ I encourage you ብጣዕሚ ሕሰቡሉ እሞ ብሓደ ተሰባሲብና ነቲ ህዝብና ሰላም ጥራሕ ተዘይኮነስ ምዕብልና እውን ንኽነምፀሉ ብሓደ ክንሰርሕ ይግባአና እቲ ኣብዚ ዘሎ ሊንክ ቲፕ ሃብ I think post ክንገብሮ ኢና I think it's already posted እሱ ሼር ገበርዎ ምስ ካሊእ ኮሚኒቲ ኣብ ስራሕ ዝሰርሕዎ ከይድኩም ዘለኹም ሰባት ማለት እዩ ሼር ገበርዎ ምስኣቶም ካብኻትኩም ካብ ጅባኹም ጥራሕ ኣይኮነን ሓደ ኮይና ክንሰርሕ ይግባእ እዩ ብማሊ እና ብገንዘብ ተኽኢልኩም ብገንዘብ ሓግዙ ብማርች ክንገብር ኢና ብሓደ ብሰላም ኣብ ዋሽንግተን ዲሲ ናሽናል ፕሮቴስት ብተዘጋጀው እንደገና ከይድ ኮይኑ እንደገና ናብኡ ፕላን ጌርኩም ንዑ ምሳና እዮም ኣለና ኢና ኢሎም ማለት እዩ ንዓመትን ፈረቓን ዝኾን ብላዕሎም ተሰባሲቦም ማለት እዩ እቲ ዝኾን ዘሎ ኣሕሲብዎም ኣሕፊርዎም ብጣዕሚ እውን ተሰሚዕዎም እዮም መፅኦም መጃኹም ተቐበሉና ምሳኹም ክንሰርሕ ኢሎም መፅኦም ዘለዉ ብምክንያቱ እዩናስ ከምኡ ንዝበለ ሰብ we have to say okay ናይ ባዕልና ኮይኑ እውን ሕማቅ ዝሰርሕ ብዙሕ ሰብ ስለ ዘሎ መፅኹም ብሓደ ተሓወሱ ንስራሕ ሕማቅ ዝሰርሕ ተርእና እንደገና እንዳስተኻኸልና ማለት እዩ ክንቀፅል ይግባአና እና ስራሕ ዝጅመር ሕዚ እዩ ተሓወሱ ምሳና share go with this link and please donate ግበሩ ኢኹም ይቀኒየለይ
Okay, thank you for that. There's two more. I'm just going to end this with two more contacts that I want to share, just in case that you guys do want to donate and you need more information. The first one is for Jordanos, and you can get that number at 240-461-0067. And the second number is going to be 202-631-8521. I want to thank everyone for the time they've taken here to talk about the event and to talk about the situation. I know it's very emotional. And like I said, I know it's absolutely incredibly important what you guys are doing. I want to thank you again for everything you guys have done. I'm sure we're going to hold more events like these, so please stay tuned on Facebook as well as the YouTube pages for more information about how you can watch us hold more of these events. And for everyone who's watched this, I want to thank you guys for attending. And just as everyone else has said, please donate and do what you can to help us.
TJ, sorry. I also want to give a shout out and a thank you to Dr. Taka and Dr. Nagasi here for allowing us, for opening the door and being an example for us. They're the ones that actually, if I'm not mistaken, came together and said we need to do this, and they're able to bring in the youth to work together as well. So I just want to give that respect and acknowledgement to them, and for continuing to bridge the gap in different communities. So I want to say thank you.
All right, thank you everybody. Good night.
Thank you. And wait, I'm sorry, before we leave, I was just asked to give one more person co-host, so they might want to say a quick word. Let's see if we can do that before we jump off. Otherwise, that'll be it. I was asked to let